all units within the same group can't friendly fire themselves, but they can friendly fire other units next to them. So cannons could destroy another cannon unit in your army, which is extremely annoying. And my allies kind of got stuck down here thanks to some guerrilla tactics from Saxony. And they're just forming up and marching on the rest of their army now. But I think I managed to hold them off on this hill. I was quite surprised that my armed citizenry did quite so well at holding the line. Of course, I think by the end of this battle they all end up running away anyway. Probably getting shot in the back by my regiments of foot, but yeah. I prefer to keep the regiments of foot alive rather than the armed citizenry. You always want to present a strong front to your enemy. Extended line's only really good for the first volley. When they do a return volley, they've got a bigger target to hit than you have. So, general rule is the less ranks that a unit has, the fewer ranks, the smaller it appears to the enemy, then the longer they'll be able to stay in combat, but the less shots they'll be able to get off. So that's really a staying tactic. If you want to get maximum guns firing at maximum amount of time, then you really want to present a strong extended line at the front, like I've done here. So as a general rule, long sort of 3 ranks for weak units like militia, armed citizenry, and then possibly 5-6 ranks for other units. Of course, I'm playing with large unit sizes. This is default. Frame rate's still a bit choppy. I'm sorry about that. Yeah, all units have a range, and it's a fairly long range. I don't think the range differs that much between different infantry types, except for skirmishers and other light infantry. They have quite a bit longer range, which they can use to their advantage. Also deploy stakes, which more or less kills horsemen straight away when they charge into it. Stakes are extremely powerful in this game, never underestimate them. You will have to watch your cavalry all the time when you charge them at the enemy, or go after his cannons, because stakes will kill your general more or less instantly if you've sent him to charge in. As a general rule for this game, you should use your general to chase down enemy units that are fleeing. Never really use them as an offensive force. I used to use them as an offensive force, but not anymore. All units have a limited amount of ammunition, of course. These armed citizenry have run out, so I'm charging them into hand-to-hand against a wavering unit in the hopes that it'll break. Because, you know, if I don't have skill, I might as well have numbers. Armed citizenry dying doesn't really affect anything in the campaign or in-game. You won't lose any population from the town that's being attacked. Yeah, that's a good note about armed citizenry. They only appear if it's a town being attacked, or a city being attacked by the enemy. It's not towns, not villages, certainly not out in the open field. It's probably the only defence that a town really has. Nah. You see, even armed citizenry, rubbish in hand-to-hand, or even when they got numbers on the side. They decide to run. So I've kind of broken their first attack here. They're just lining up for a second one. But my ally from the south is approaching slowly. So my ally may not be doing much in the way of damage against the enemy, but the enemy is kind of umming and ahhing now about whether to continue attacking me up on the hill or get ready to defend against the Baden-Wuttenberg army. I really like the Baden-Württemberg's uniforms. I think they've got some fantastic uniforms. Helmets especially. I don't like Saxony. All white and a bit of green. It's terrible. Anyway, so tactics. Still got my men firing, presenting a strong flank to them. Trying to fire as many guns as possible. Armed citizenry run out of ammo very, very quickly, whereas regiments of foot, fusiliers of the line, etc., etc., they have a decent amount of ammunition. Cannons have infinite ammo. Now that is an extremely important strategic point right there. You will have to have at least 2-3 groups of cannons in your army, minimum, for any kind of engagement, because the enemy will certainly use the cannons a lot, and they'll probably have many more units. It's quite lucky in this battle that the enemy only had 1 unit of cannons, and even then I think it's only 2. Oh no, it is 3. But they didn't do much damage, and he didn't place them very well. So you always want to have a good amount of cannons, because that infinite ammo will definitely come in handy. It stops the enemy from just camping on a hill, or going into square formation like they have done here, which is extremely vulnerable to cannon fire. Square formation is great against cavalry, terrible against cannon fire, but of course you already knew that. Now here my forces are... armed citizenry is all more or less running. It's just the regular infantry left. And of course, even though these guys are better shooters, I'm not sure, but I think musketeers are better shooters than fusiliers of the line and regiments of the foot. So, even though they've got numbers on their side, they've got slightly better morale, probably. Yeah, I'd say. So they want to charge in on foot and try and get to hand, which is a good idea because I do not have many men, and they will break eventually, even if my general's near them, which he's near enough at the moment. You always have to keep your general out of cannon shot, because that's almost, yeah, in fact, because he's on horseback and because he's general's unit, that makes him a #1 target for cannons, which is not good, seeing as though cannons have an extremely far range. From this hill here to the enemy cannons, that's about 2/3 of the range of any cannon unit. They can fire a little bit further than that. So cannons are an extremely powerful force. They can fire a solid ball or grape shot. Solid ball goes far, grape shot is only it's good against infantry at close range, of course. So all my men have retreated by now. All I've got left is 1 unit of foot, my 3 cannon units, and my general's unit. Oh, sorry, 2 units of foot. So, but while they still have a lot of units left, old Saxony, they don't have much in the way of men per squad. So if they do charge up the hill, they'll do it piecemeal, because the enemy isn't really good at mass charging. And if they charge me piecemeal, then it will give my cannons enough time to fire grape shot, reload and fire again. It looks like most of them are running now. My ally is still harassing them instead of committing all his forces quickly enough. It was a good idea. It was he did needed to tie up the cavalry, because I'm not very good at countering enemy cavalry. So thank God he tied up the cavalry a little bit. One thing that does annoy me about cannon fire is that they won't target the centre of your unit. They will only target the edges, which seems like an AI bug at first. I'm not sure if the designers wanted to do that on purpose. In this instance, though, the firing at the edges is quite a good strategy, because it's 2 units right next to each other. Some of their men are overlapping, so if they fire at the edge of one of the units, they're going to hit both the units.